Getting your TSTV decoder just got easier. Simply log on to www.tstvrafrica.shop. Select any item of your choice by clicking on Add to Cart. Click on Proceed to check out to make payment. For new users, fill in the required billing details. Check the website terms and condition box to agree. Click on Place Order. Click on Make Payments. On the payment page, fill in your card details. Confirm the amount and click Pay. You can also pay via USSD, bank transfer and other payment platforms. Order your TSTV decoder now and get it delivered to your doorstep. TSTV, connecting your world.
Welcome to Consumer Community, where we discuss consumer-related issues that concerns you. As you know, we want to safeguard your interests, your privileges, and your rights in consumer-related issues. And that's why we have this program for you every time, for you to be educated, be informed, and have rights about all what you need to know about what you consume. Today is a special day because we are discussing what concerns you. Perhaps you have a device that you subscribe to all these telcos. So today we are going to be discussing about telecommunication in general and what concerns you, how well are you enjoying it, what do you need to know about how to prevent yourself. Perhaps virtually every banking or operation that you carry out must pass through this platform. We want to look into how you should manage and what you should be careful about. Perhaps recently we have issue of digital fraud. How well are you informed about it? So today we are going to be discussing with people from Nigerian Telecommunication Commission, where they will be educating us about all what you need to know. So with me today, I have Director Consumer Affairs from Nigerian Communication Commission, person of Mr. Efosa Idehe. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Leo.
Thank you so much. Also, we also have the Deputy Director, who is also double as the Head of Consumer Protection and Advocacy. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Clem Umife.
Thank you, Dr. Aliyu. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks so much. I know you do a lot of things about make sure you protect consumer on consumer-related issue. But today, I want you to bring it down to people, break it down for them to know how you've been working so hard. Because people always don't see your part that you are working, but they always want to enjoy the best. You know, someone is somewhere making things possible for you. So before we commence, we need to have a background on what you actually focus on in your organization. Can you tell us about your mandate in Nigerian Communication Commission?
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali. Nigerian Communications Commission is the independent regulator for telecoms in Nigeria. We have the mandate to license all the telecom regulators, telecom companies in Nigeria, that's service providers and even the co-location providers. And then one of the biggest mandate we have is the protection of the consumer. And that's the focus I want us to talk about.
Right, we are here to talk about consumer
let's talk
protection.
About consumer here today. NCC
but before you move ahead, sir,
yes.
When we talk about, you know, when we talk about the major primary aim of phone before was just to make call, and that's all. But now there's a lot of added value now. So I want you to talk about all of them in general.
Well, for now, your phone is more like you. It does a lot of things for you. It wasn't the type of those days analog phone. You have digital phones now, right. And your bank is in your phone.
It's in your phone, right?
Your religion is in your phone. Everything is in your phone. And if you leave your phone at home now, you leave every other thing to go get back your phone. But be that as it may, it is someone that regulates the interplay within the entire industry to provide this service for you. And that organization is Nigerian Communications Commission. And apart from licensing service provider, we also make provision for them to be able to deliver their services. And that is, we give them resources, right, like spectrum, number, for them to be able to do whatever they want to do. Because if those resources are not there, especially for wireless services, then there's no way they can communicate or anybody can communicate. So those resources are there, and then there are numbers that they need. Your short codes are actually numbers that we give to them. And for us in NCC, we do all this because we want the consumer to enjoy the services that they provide. Very important. It's very important because the key to our success is that Nigerians are happier than it was those days when you have to queue very long for you to be able to get phone. Those things are no longer there. So for us now, as a commission, the protection, promotion, and of the interest of the consumer against unfair practice, including but not limited to tariffs and charges, is the main concern of my own department.
Oh, right.
So my department is for consumer affairs.
So you are the one making sure that consumer enjoy the value for their money.
For their money, yes.
So have a look at that. But ordinarily, as a Nigerian, most of us always think that you are more tilting towards the player than the consumer. So how are you making sure that consumer are carried along with all these enormous work you are doing to protect consumers? Mr. Clem.
Thank you, Doctor. You see, you must have a balance. Yes, the consumers, in fact, they are the reason why even the service providers and even the regulators, are around. But having said that, you must create a balance. To the consumers, there are responsibilities, and also to the service providers, you have responsibility. And for us as NCC, as the regulator, we make sure that based on our regulatory instrument that we've rolled out, what needs to be done to protect the consumers are actually done. We monitor this, conscientiously to ensure that consumers are not left with the short end of the stick. And in one of the ways we do this is, we actually ensure that consumers are educated with respect to their rights, are well informed, because information is power. So when you have information concerning the services that you're consuming, you understand, you'll be able to, protect and demand, for your right.
And that's part of the basic right of consumer, right? To be informed,
yes,
and be educated about what they are going to consume. Then, Mr. Efosa, if you look at the complaints, or I could say from our statistics and research, we discovered that the complaints are getting reduced gradually. But the fact it's reducing it gradually does not mean another one is not coming up. When you are trying to sort this, another one will be coming up. So what are you doing to really make sure that these complaints are bring down to the minimum level? Because Nigerians don't want a seamless operation of, drop score, maybe a lot of things. So but what are you doing, and how are you trying to really make sure these players come down to make sure they do what will not affect the consumer negatively and they enjoy value for their money?
Thank you again, Dr. Ali. There will be no time there will be no complaints.
Right.
At all times there will be complaints because it's a give and take situation. You cannot satisfy everybody, be that as it may, but we try as much as possible to ensure that the consumer, the service provider, don't take advantage of the consumer. We've written a service level agreement between us and the service provider that ensures that there are agreements to resolution of different kinds of complaints. Some will take some few minutes, some will take up to 3 days to resolve, but they must pass through those resolution processes. And we also encourage the consumer that the first point of call is your service provider. One thing we want the consumers to understand is that we don't provide service, we regulate the service provider. And be that, using that as a yardstick, we also give them the opportunity to get back to us if they are not satisfied with whatever resolution that has taken place with their service provider. We try as much as possible to encourage them to get to us. They can get to us in so many platforms, so that once they get to us, We also give them receipts now to say, you have spoken to our call center. This is the login receipt for your complaint. And then that complaint passes through our resolution process. Most times we resolve all the issues. Sometimes there are so many, some that are very sticky. It takes more time to resolve. But until we resolve every issue, we don't drop those issues.
Well, that's what's your department and that's what you are responsible for.
Yes.
For Nigerians. Apart from that, people want to know. You need to guide Nigerians about the timeline. We talk about ticketing maybe after a complaint. What I'm trying to say is that if I had an issue with a particular player in this industry, if I take a particular complaint to this organization, at what point will I think they have not responded to me? Let me escalate to you. At what point?
Okay, like the director said, the first point of complaint is actually the service provider. And when they are unable to resolve this complaint, then you can escalate to us.
At what point are we going to escalate to you?
Yeah, they have, when you, depending on the channel you have used, sometimes you reach them through phone and you speak to their agent. And of course, they also have their own, the resolution time, internal resolution time. So immediately that elapses, you can, and your complaint is not resolved, you can actually forward that to us. Like my director said, you see, there are different kinds of complaints.
Right.
And some, it could be technical that, require some time. But like we said, minor complaints like recharge card, failure to load recharge card and so on, those ones are resolved in hours, you understand. So for the complex ones, maybe it gets up to 72 hours or so thereabout. Then after then, if they are not able to, within those timelines, you can, escalate to us. We have so many platforms which you can reach us. Our main objective and the work that we do in our department is to ensure that your complaint, we want satisfied consumers. So we don't rest on our oars until such complaints are resolved. In fact, for most cases in our contact center, even messages that we receive, part of the things we even monitor is that we get commendation to say, in fact, some of them will say, we don't even know that a government agency
well, Nigeria are good at commendation, but not good at complaints sometimes. However, what we need as a consumer is the resolution time. Please, we need to work on it so that to know that if a particular telco, they don't respond to you in 15 working days, then escalate to us. So that it won't be as if we'll just be there expecting them, you're going there back and forth and without no solution.
Dr. Aliu, there is a timeline.
Right.
A definite timeline for resolution. For every complaint that you take to your service provider that is not a major technical issue, within 72 hours, it must be resolved.
72 hours.
3 days, it must be resolved. When it is not resolved, and sometimes they think there is a resolution, they've given you a resolution, but you are not even satisfied with the resolution.
Right.
You can still escalate
appeal,
no, you can escalate it.
Not appeal to them, escalate to
you escalate it to us, because for us, when you have issues with your service provider and your service provider is not giving you value, that is why we are there. Consumer Affairs Bureau was created for that purpose. And then we look at it. And most times our job is like a mediatory to find out whether what the operator said is what the standard is.
Or the consumer is demanding beyond normalcy.
Beyond normalcy. And then we'll be able to tell you frankly to say, look, yes, the rule says this. And they have met that threshold. For this, it is done. And then we can also look at the service provider in their face and say, no, you have not done this thing. This man is entitled to A, B, C, D, E. And you are just giving A, B. What about the C, D? You must meet him on the whole hog. So for us, it's a very committed thing to us in NCC to say, look, consumers must not be shortchanged. Why we are not trying to fight the service provider, we tell them, when the consumer is demanding more, we say, no, you can't get this, for sure. This is beyond what you are asking, what this case can give, the remedy this case can give to you. But when the service provider is also trying to shortchange the consumers, we stand the gap and say you can't.
Right.
So for us, the number of days, except for huge technical issue, it's normally 3 days. The highest thing we have in our service level
I know
agreement.
consumer would like to know that this is consumer community on BRTV, and we are discussing consumer protection in telecommunication sector. And for you to know, when we say telecommunication, it's involved all these communication company that is subscribed, such as MTN, Airtel, Globalcom, you know, and so on, and a lot of them. So today we are trying to break it down for you, how you can complain and what you are expecting from this service provider. Mr. Efosa, looking at this, you know, let's talk about data now, because when we talk about calls, it's not call only. We also talk about data usage. Now, how do we measure? You know, definitely we subscribe to different one, and you have room to port to anyone you want to engage with. But how do we actually measure that this data you are giving me equates what I'm paying for?
Okay, thank you. Just to, is Mr. Clem Omefe.
Mr. Clem.
Okay, so what we normally will encourage consumers to do,
right,
is that when you subscribe to a particular package, you understand those packages have details of what you are supposed to get. And you know, you need to also be vigilant to ensure that you are getting what you are supposed to get. For example, if you subscribe to maybe a package of 3,000 naira now, it tells you you are entitled to gig.
Yes.
You understand? So you also need to, you know, on your own, also monitor what your consumption is. You understand? So you need that information. You need to be alert on the service package or bundle you have subscribed to. And also be sure to also read the fine print. You know,
with respect to
those packages, so that you are fully aware, and that makes, when you are fully aware, you are not cheated, you know, out of those packages. But at the NCC also, we from time to time, we even, you know, take samples and begin to see that, look, okay, MTN, Glo, Airtel, or Nine Mobile, you said amount is for 2 gigabyte, 2 gig, or 3 gig, or 5 gig, or 20 gig, as the case may be. So we do go into their system, you know, sometimes to monitor, you know, to eyeball, to look at and say, okay, we trace the consumer history, the usage history, and begin to break it down to ensure, you know, that the usage corresponds, you know, with what they are charging and what ab initio, you know, the prices of those packages are, so that consumers are not shortchanged. So even on constant basis, the commission, you know, does this. We do investigation with respect to that. But like I said, it's important that the consumers actually know, are fully aware of the packages they subscribe to.
All right, thank you so much. This is Consumer Community, and we'll be going on breather, then we'll be coming back in a short while. Join us.
Getting your TSTV decoder just got easier. Simply log on to www.tstvafrica.shop. Select any item of your choice by clicking on Add to Cart. Click on Proceed to check out to make payment. For new users, fill in the required billing details. Check the website terms and condition box to agree. Click on Place Order. Click on Make Payments. On the payment page, fill in your card details. Confirm the amount and click Pay. You can also pay via USSD, bank transfer, and other payment platforms. Order your TSTV decoder now and get it delivered to your doorstep. TSTV, connecting your world.
Welcome to Consumer Community. And like I said, today we are discussing about telecommunication. How do you enjoy the platform you subscribe to? Do you get value for money? And how well do you escalate any challenge? Or you keep quiet as a typical African man that don't like to complain? And today with me, I have people that are doing justice to that discussion. Now, Mr. Clem, let's discuss about the current issue that is ravaging not only Nigeria, it's a global problem, which talks about digital finance and digital fraud. Now, there cannot be any banking transaction online without passing through this telecos to operate. And I'm sure there is a relationship between NCC, Nigerian Communication Commission, and Central Bank of Nigeria, and NITDA. I think there is three arm now. Now, NITDA also is regulating the platform. So we want to look at how are people going to make sure that they are well protected in this angle. Because if you lost your SIM now and someone picked the SIM, immediately they can use it to withdraw people's money. They can use it to subscribe for a lot of things. So what can we do in this aspect to make sure that we manage this our SIM card very, very well?
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. You recall that as a policy, the government directive of linking your SIM with your name, that's a national
identity management card.
Identity number, so that helps us, with respect to if the biometrics you have, does not match with all this, it's not easy anymore, to be able to how do you call it now? To be able to change your SIM or somebody else using your SIM at the back end now, because all this information are going to be linked together. So aside from even from the banking aspect, your BVN and all the checks they do,
right?
You understand? They are linking this information all together, and of course that puts a lot of barrier for unscrupulous element. To actually take your SIM or whatever to be able to perpetrate for. But beyond that, also, the consumers, they have the responsibility of ensuring that those SIM, those numbers are protected. One, your password, the codes, and everything related to your SIM is guarded. Then again, that's what we call SIM swap. Within when you either lose your number for due to one circumstance or the other, and you want to now do SIM replacement. The barriers are up. That you can't just walk into the service providers to do that. There are so many things that are required for you to do to be able to have that. Another thing also is the collaboration with NCC and CBN.
Even now, National Information Technology Agency, they are the major one handling the platform too. So I expect there should be collaboration too.
The platform for, you mean?
What I'm saying is this: if you look at digital platform or digital finance, it involves CBN, it involves NITDA, and it also involves NCC. Because if you look at these three regulatory bodies, they are much more involved in this area. That's why we are looking at how is the collaboration itself between these agencies.
All the agencies that have one role or other to play, within that value chain, we are all collaborating to make sure that, those platforms are actually well protected.
Why I'm actually saying this, maybe I should come to you, Mr. Efosa. If you look at these people that are giving out money, these loan sharks, especially, these loan sharks, once you are trying to get credit from them, get a loan from them, they will request that you put in all your privacy that there's a way, I don't know how they do it, but there's a way they collect your private that immediately you default. All numbers on your phone will be text, they will be calling them. And is there any way we can say, no, you can't have access to other things, or it's not within your jurisdiction?
Data protection for telecom service provider, for telecom service consumers is guarded by law.
All right.
And for us, when you use the word loan sharks, that is not within the purview.
Yes,
of
but
NCC.
it passes through
I understand.
that platform.
It's like you passing through the road built by Julius Berger to your village, and then anything happen along the road, and then you come back and charge Julius Berger. So we provide that road, that express road for everybody to ride, and that's what telecom is providing. They can't. It's like us. We also say we don't regulate technology in NCC. When we give you a license, you can use any technology. Any technology that rides on that platform, as long as they have the license and collaboration, interconnection with properly done with the service provider, they have met the law. Usage of that platform is a completely different ball game. For us in NCC, what we tell our consumer is to be very wary of the people who say, give me, I will give you loan. We know times are hard. And when they ask you, because they cannot take your data without your permission.
Right.
So it's the consumer
That's obliged.
you oblige them, because you said, when you say the money will be here in 10 seconds if you allow me copy your, because it asks for permission.
Exactly. No, they even tell you to fill by yourself. No. So it's consumer that actually drop that.
No, this one is the one online. They just tell you, click yes for us to be able
To access
to
your
access your data, your contacts. And immediately you click that,
Yeah.
the phone will open up for them to pull out
those
all your
data.
those your information. So it is more of education and information to the consumer.
And that's part of why we are
For
here
us
to
to be,
educate people.
for them to understand that, look, you don't give permission into your privacy to everybody because you need money. We understand that. So, but other things that those loan shark does is what is criminal. Nobody can guarantee a loan without writing, without signing. They are working on the fact that most people don't understand.
And the loan is as cheap, is as small as 2,000,
Yes.
5,000,
Yes,
10,000.
but what those people do is that they call 200 of your
Contacts.
contacts.
Is it two or all? Is it not all?
And those people, some of those contacts pay them back.
Oh.
They pay them back, but they don't cancel your loan.
Because I receive a lot of such
They don't
SMS,
cancel the
and we are
loan.
looking at how we
They
can
don't.
fight
They don't
that.
cancel the loan of the people. Those are criminal issues.
Very, very
it's
criminal.
more of the security.
Let me just add to what he has said, because really is a big challenge, the regulator, the NCC, CBN, and even Federal
Competition
and Consumer Protection Commission.
You know, we've all come together in trying to deal with this
that
issue.
we could
In fact,
see
they are okay. Even as I speak to you, I've been a victim where somebody calls me that you know, a loan or whatever, and I'm wondering,
Where?
you know,
When?
so really that is not right, and they've gone beyond their remit, and I can assure you there's something, you know, urgently being done.
All right, thank
with
you.
respect
Another
to
thing
that.
I want you to address from your commission level, you may recall, if you lost your ATM card, there's a code you press, there's a number you send, and that will be blocked immediately. Is there anything like that for SIM card? Because phone can be hijacked, can be taken away by all these bad elements. So immediately this thing, can you go to another person's phone and press a particular thing with your own phone number and the same is blocked? So that for them not to access things.
That would be a service that the service provider will provide for their consumer.
We agree, but as regulatory body, you can...
It's you see, we don't micromanage them.
Right.
Those are issues that they can see as something that will make their consumer happy, and it becomes a competition thing for them. If you are in my network, you lose your SIM, you can get protected even when any other person...
But is what part of regulatory can also look into and suggest it to them, or let them know? I think we need to be protected.
I understand that you need to be protected.
Yes.
But there are some things that are beyond regulation. That it becomes management of those service providers. We don't micromanage them. We just set the general rules,
so that
and
means
regulations.
As a consumer, we can also make a kind of case for that,
yes,
and request that from them.
Yeah,
yes.
I also, let me say that there are some SIM that have the features of when you can actually, lock your SIM. But doing that from another person's phone, I'm not sure about. But there are some security measures you can put in place. You understand? So that it's just like insurance. It's not until the day the thing happens.
You must have
Yeah. So there are
yourself.
things you even password and what that a whole lot of people can't break into that. Even when you lose your SIM.
I think
you understand. So if you have done that, you will be able to have some.
Save the consumer can take that up and write to these organizations to let them know that we also need this layer of protection.
That layer of protection is there most times, because I know if I put on my phone, it asks me for 2 passwords, double password. And if you take my SIM and put it in any phone, you must know that double password for you to be able to use it.
This is consumer education. These are what we expect telecos to also tell us.
It's there.
We agree it's there, but we need to be educated about it. It's very key.
It's there generally, but sometimes, like I said, many people don't even know that there is do not disturb. They don't even know that they have the power to choose the service provider they want to be with. Right. For more than 4 years or 5 years now, those things have been there. We popularized it in the years of the consumer in 2017, and it still looks as if it is not being done. Or if you don't like your service provider, all you need to do is to go and to the one that you like and say, I want to port. It's easy. So it's you that determine where you want to be. And then, but what we find most times challenging is that a consumer telling you, look, I don't want to leave this place. Make this man serve me better. Instead of,
and that's why there's competition. That's why people give room for competition.
You can move.
As we are winding up, I'd like you to discuss with us how you engage your consumers, because I know you have several programs where you engage consumers. But how do you carry out this, and how often does this consumer engagement happen?
Yes, consumer engagement is something we do frequently, and also we have various engagement outreach programs. We have town hall on radio. We just came back from I think Port Harcourt, Enugu. We have the telecom consumer conversation. We have the telecom consumer parliament. So a whole lot of engagement. There are, even because we believe in inclusivity, even we engage the youth, like the NYC conversation. Recently, during the World Consumer Rights Day, we even had the opportunity to bring secondary school people, even to form part of the discourse, in debates and so on. So there are a plethora of activities that would, that we use in engaging consumers. We also have, they can also reach us through other various platforms, the consumer portal. We have a consumer portal. We engage them via the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on and so forth. So we do a whole lot of that. And recently, you asked a question about fraud in the telecom, fraud perpetrated via the telecom platform. We even started an initiative. We call it Shine Your Eyes, No Fall Mugu. which is an advocacy.
Again,
Shine your eyes, no for Mugu. It's just trying to build that awareness, with consumers about this issue of fraud. The things they need to do, how to protect and guard their SIM cards, how to protect and guard their passwords, and so on and so forth. What not to do when you go on the internet, be vigilant. There are some booby traps set on you that if you click those numbers, you may be given access, to your information to fraudsters. And again, just, back to the issue of the loan sharks, we talked about, downloading app or whatever, when they request for, when you want to do, when you want to subscribe to their loans. Sometimes when you download the app without reading that fine print, as my director has said, you understand, you are giving them access to your information. So we build, awareness around all these issues for consumers to know.
And it's not from you alone. I think people, financial sector need to do more. And like I mentioned, need that. But Mr. Efosa, in conclusion, do you think Nigerian complaint is overwhelming?
It's really not overwhelming. It's just that it's normal for you to have people complain. And if people don't complain, that means there's something wrong. That means we are just moving in one direction and we are deceiving ourselves. It is the complaints that make you know what is going wrong. We do regulation, and we don't, until that regulation is tested by the service provider, to say provide this service and so and so. And then it's the complaints that help us know whether that regulation is meeting its objective or not. And then we will now begin to direct and redirect ourselves until we get to the optimal position. So for us, we enjoy being people complaining, but in spite of that, it must be genuine complaints.
It must be genuine complaints. Nigeria will look at what you call genuine.
Dr. Ali, just to add to what my director has said, we know, when you have as much as over 180 million subscribers, there will be complaint. And that's why Ab initio, the Commission has set up the Consumer Affairs Bureau. And one of the issues that we take on, issues coming from consumers. And, we try to resolve those issues expeditiously.
All right, thank you so much for joining us this episode of Consumer Community. And my guests they are from NCC. NCC. Thank you, Mr. Efosa Idehen, Director of Consumer Affairs Bureau. Thank you for being here today. And also Mr. Clem Umifi, Deputy Director, Head Consumer Protection and Advocacy. Thank you so much. I assure you, we'll definitely call you some other time to this beautiful program. I'm sure you're a consumer too, and you want to be protected. So, yes, so you are only in your own field. You need to be protected somewhere. Yes. So thank you so much for coming. This is Consumer Community on BR TV. And like I told you on customer experience segment today, we'll be discussing about mystery shopping. What is mystery shopping? Mystery shopping is the act of checking your service through the third party. Because if you don't check your service, you may not know what is going on. First, it will expose you to how your staff are attending to people. It will also expose you to what you need to know. It will also let you know, do you have enough staff to attend to people? Because if there's bad service, it could be what you least expected. So we encourage companies to embark on mystery shopping, doing service check. This will help you to also understand your turnaround time for service. This will also help you to understand the process itself, because process could be so cumbersome that it's difficult for people to attend to things. It will also help you to know your ambience. Is it what people really want? And it will also expose your service provider attitude towards us. So if you want to measure your service, you want to evaluate your service delivery, you need to engage a mystery shopper, which could be also called a service checker. Thank you for listening to Consumer Community today. Thank you so much. Be safe and always shine your eyes like rightly here, and don't fall mugu. Thanks so much for being with us.